right now. In your kitchen, there's a good chance you're about to reach for a drink tomorrow morning that's quietly working against one of the hardest working organs in your entire body. And the strange part is, it probably won't feel like anything. No pain, no warning sign, just a slow, silent process that builds up over months and years. Your kidneys filtered every drop of blood in your body close to 40 times last night while you were asleep. And the very first thing you put into your system when you wake up decides how much extra work you're handing them today. Some morning drinks quietly support that process. Others slowly push your kidneys toward exhaustion. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which is which and exactly what to do about it starting tomorrow morning. Let's talk for a moment about what your kidneys actually do, because most people never think about them until something goes wrong. Two fist-sized organs, sitting just below your rib cage, and together they filter somewhere around 50 gallons of blood every single day. They remove waste. They balance your fluids. They regulate your blood pressure. They even help control which minerals stay in your body and which ones leave. All of that happens quietly, in the background, without you ever noticing, until one day, you do. Here's the part that surprises most people. Kidney damage rarely announces itself early. By the time symptoms show up, fatigue, swelling, changes in urination, a significant amount of kidney function may already be affected. That's why so many health professionals call the kidneys silent organs. They absorb stress for years before they ever complain. And one of the biggest, most overlooked sources of that daily stress is what you drink in the first 30 minutes after waking up. Think about it this way. After 6, 7, 8 hours of sleep, you haven't had a sip of water all night. Your body is mildly dehydrated. Your blood is slightly more concentrated. Your kidneys have been quietly filtering everything you ate and drank the day before, with no new fluid coming in to help dilute the workload. So that first drink isn't just breakfast. It's instructions. It tells your kidneys whether they're getting support or whether they're getting handed more work to do. Before we go through the drinks that actually help, I want to show you something most videos skip entirely. The drinks that feel completely normal, even healthy, but quietly work against you. Because protecting your kidneys isn't only about adding the right things in. It's also about noticing what to leave out. Where are you watching this from today? Drop your city or country in the comments below. I always love seeing how far this community reaches. Let's start with the drinks that masquerade as harmless, because these are the ones doing the most damage without anyone noticing. First, ice-cold soda, first thing in the morning. It's sugary, it's acidic, and for kidneys that are already under stress, high sugar intake first thing in the morning can contribute to insulin spikes that, over years, strain the small blood vessels inside the kidneys. Those tiny vessels are exactly what your kidneys rely on to filter properly. Then there's the habit of drinking coffee, especially a large cup, before you've had any water at all. Coffee itself isn't the enemy here. In moderate amounts, many studies have actually linked coffee to a lower risk of certain health issues. The problem is the order. Coffee is a mild diuretic, meaning it encourages your body to release fluid. If it's the very first thing entering an already mildly dehydrated body, it can intensify that morning dehydration rather than easing it. Picture a man named Tund, not someone you'd find in a hospital bed, just an ordinary man in his early 60s, the kind of person many of us know personally. For years, his morning routine was simple. Wake up, brew a strong cup of coffee, drink it on an empty stomach before anything else touched his lips. He felt fine. No symptoms. No reason to think twice about it. It wasn't until a routine blood panel, the kind many people over 50 are encouraged to get yearly, flagged his kidney function as something to monitor. Nothing dramatic. No diagnosis splashed across a chart. Just a number slightly outside the ideal range, paired with a gentle nudge from his doctor to look at hydration habits. That one comment changed something for him. He started drinking a full glass of water before his coffee every morning. Not instead of it, just before it. Small shift. Within a few months, his numbers had improved enough that his doctor specifically noted the change. Stories like Tund's aren't rare. They're common, quiet, and almost always invisible until someone happens to look. Another habit worth mentioning: sugary fruit juices marketed as healthy that are loaded with added sugar and very little real fruit. Many of these products list sugar as one of the first ingredients. For kidneys already managing blood sugar regulation, A sugar-heavy drink first thing in the morning adds unnecessary strain before the day even begins. And finally, energy drinks. High caffeine combined with high sugar and, in many cases, added stimulants creates a combination that can spike blood pressure quickly. Since high blood pressure is one of the leading contributors to long-term kidney strain, starting your day with that kind of spike is far from ideal. None of this means you need to panic about a cup of coffee or an occasional soda. This isn't about fear, it's about awareness. Once you understand what your kidneys are dealing with each morning, you can make small, intentional swaps that add up significantly over time. So now that you know what to avoid, let's get into what actually works. And the first one might surprise you with just how simple it is. If there's one morning drink that's almost too simple to take seriously, it's warm water with a slice of fresh lemon. And yet, this humble combination does more for your kidneys than most people realize. Let's start with hydration itself. Warm water is absorbed by your body slightly faster than ice-cold water, partly because your digestive system doesn't need to spend energy warming it up first. That faster absorption means your kidneys start receiving the fluid support they need that much sooner. Then there's the lemon. A fresh lemon contains citrate, a compound that plays a meaningful role in preventing one of the most painful kidney issues out there, kidney stones. Citrate binds to calcium in the urine, which helps stop calcium from crystallizing into the hard deposits we know as stones. This matters more than people think. Kidney stones affect a significant portion of adults at some point in their lives, and many cases are linked to low citrate levels combined with low fluid intake. A simple glass of warm lemon water in the morning helps address both of those risk factors at once. There's also the vitamin C angle. Just like we discussed with cranberry juice later in this video, vitamin C acts as an antioxidant, helping to neutralize the free radicals your kidneys generate naturally during the filtration process. Over years, unmanaged oxidative stress contributes to gradual tissue wear. A little antioxidant support each morning is a small investment with a long payoff. I want to share a story that illustrates this well. A woman named Grace, in her late 50s, had struggled with recurring kidney stones for nearly a decade. Painful, disruptive, the kind of experience that makes you dread certain mornings. Her doctor suggested two things: drink more water throughout the day and start incorporating citrus, specifically lemon, into her routine. She started with something almost embarrassingly simple: warm water, half a lemon, every single morning before anything else. No drastic diet overhaul. Just that one consistent habit. She didn't expect much. But over the following 2 years, her stone recurrences dropped noticeably, something her doctor connected directly to her improved hydration and citrate intake. It wasn't a miracle. It was consistency applied to something simple over a long enough period of time. Now, a few important notes on how to actually do this well. Use real, fresh lemon, not lemon-flavored powders or bottled concentrates with added preservatives, which can contain added sugar or sodium that work against the very benefit you're going for. Warm, not boiling. Boiling water can break down some of the vitamin C content before you even drink it. Aim for water that's comfortably warm, almost like tea temperature, not scalding. One important caveat: if you have a history of acid reflux or sensitive teeth enamel, you may want to drink this through a straw and follow it with a small sip of plain water afterward, simply to protect your enamel from the citric acid. And one more caveat worth mentioning clearly. If you've ever been told by a doctor that you're prone to a specific type of kidney stone called oxalate stones, you'll want to discuss citrus intake with your physician first, since individual cases can vary. This is exactly why personalized medical guidance always comes first and general wellness habits come second. When used consistently, warm lemon water is one of the simplest, lowest-cost habits you can build into your morning: gentle hydration, a small dose of antioxidants, and meaningful support for stone prevention, all from 2 ingredients most people already have at home. But here's the part most people overlook when they think about kidney-friendly drinks. They assume it has to be something exotic. It doesn't. Sometimes the most overlooked, ordinary ingredients are doing more work than anything fancy ever could. Let's talk about a drink that's been quietly recommended by health professionals for generations: cranberry juice, and why it deserves a real spot in your morning routine, not just a passing mention. The first thing to understand is potassium. Cranberries are naturally low in potassium compared to many other fruits. This matters because when kidney function is reduced, even slightly, the body can struggle to clear excess potassium efficiently. Over time, that buildup can affect heart rhythm and overall health. A naturally low potassium drink gives kidneys some breathing room while still delivering real nutritional value. Then there's the antioxidant profile. Cranberries are rich in vitamin C and a group of plant compounds called proanthocyanidins. Together, these help counter oxidative stress, the same kind of cellular wear and tear we talked about with lemon water, while also supporting your immune system more broadly. But the benefit most people associate with cranberry juice is urinary tract health, and for good reason. Research has consistently shown that compounds in cranberries can make it harder for certain bacteria to adhere to the walls of the urinary tract. Instead of clinging and multiplying, much of that bacteria simply gets flushed out during normal urination. Why does this matter for your kidneys specifically? Because many kidney infections don't start in the kidneys at all. They start lower, in the bladder or urinary tract, and travel upward if left unaddressed. Reducing the frequency of urinary tract infections is, indirectly, a meaningful way of protecting your kidneys from a fairly common pathway to more serious complications. Let me tell you about James, a retired teacher in his early 70s, who dealt with recurring urinary tract infections for years. Frustrating, uncomfortable, and just disruptive enough to affect his quality of life. He tried a few approaches without much luck. A nurse practitioner, almost as an aside during a routine visit, mentioned unsweetened cranberry juice diluted with water each morning. James was skeptical. It felt too simple to matter. But he was tired of dealing with the same problem every few months, so he gave it a real try, every morning, without skipping, for about 4 months. He didn't track it scientifically. He just noticed that the infections that used to show up every couple of months had become far less frequent. When he mentioned it at his next checkup, his doctor wasn't surprised at all. She'd seen this pattern in other patients many times before. Now here's the detail that actually matters most with cranberry juice, and it's the one most people get wrong at the grocery store. Most cranberry juice on store shelves is loaded with added sugar, sometimes more sugar per serving than a can of soda. That sugar content can cancel out, or even outweigh, the benefits we just discussed. The fix is straightforward. Look specifically for unsweetened cranberry juice, sometimes labeled 100% cranberry juice, with no added sugar. It will taste noticeably tart, almost sharp, and that's normal. If it's too intense, dilute it with water, roughly 1 part juice to 3 parts water, which softens the flavor without diluting the core benefits significantly. If you want to go a step further, you can make your own at home. Simmer fresh or frozen cranberries in water for 10 to 15 minutes. Strain the solids out, let it cool, and store it in the refrigerator for up to about a week. A small squeeze of fresh lemon adds extra vitamin C, and if you need a touch of sweetness, a small drizzle of honey works. Just keep it minimal. One more important note, and this one matters for anyone managing existing kidney concerns. Cranberry juice, even unsweetened, is still relatively acidic and can interact with certain medications, including some blood thinners. If you're on prescription medication of any kind, this is a conversation worth having with your doctor before making it a daily habit. If this video is helping you piece together a healthier morning routine, take a second right now to hit that subscribe button. It genuinely helps this kind of information reach more people who need it. Now, let's keep going, because the next drink might be the most studied one on this entire list. Green tea has one of the longest track records of any beverage when it comes to kidney-related research, and there's a reason scientists keep coming back to study it. At the center of its benefits are compounds called catechins, a type of natural antioxidant found in unusually high concentrations in green tea leaves. Catechins help protect cells throughout your body from oxidative damage, and kidney tissue is no exception. One catechin in particular, known as EGCG, has been studied for its potential role in reducing oxalate levels in urine. Lower oxalate levels are associated with a reduced risk of one of the most common types of kidney stones, calcium oxalate stones, which account for a large share of all kidney stone cases. Beyond stone prevention, green tea has also been studied for its relationship to blood pressure. High blood pressure is one of the most significant long-term contributors to kidney damage, because it places sustained strain on the delicate blood vessels inside the kidneys responsible for filtration. Some research suggests that regular green tea consumption may support healthier blood pressure levels over time, which indirectly protects kidney tissue from that sustained pressure. There's also a metabolic angle worth mentioning. Green tea has been associated with modest improvements in metabolism and fat oxidation. While it's far from a weight loss miracle, maintaining a healthy body weight does reduce the overall workload placed on your kidneys, since excess weight is linked to increased risk of conditions like type 2 diabetes and high blood pressure, two of the leading causes of kidney disease worldwide. Let me share a story that brings this to life. A woman named Patricia, in her mid-60s, had been told by her doctor that her blood pressure readings were creeping into a range worth watching closely. Not an emergency, but a clear signal to make some lifestyle adjustments. She wasn't someone who enjoyed strict diets or complicated routines. Her doctor suggested a few small, sustainable changes, and one of them was replacing her usual sugary morning drink with a cup of green tea. Patricia admitted she almost laughed at how small that suggestion sounded compared to the seriousness of the conversation. But she did it anyway. Every morning, 1 cup. Nothing else changed dramatically at first. Over the following months, alongside a few other gradual lifestyle adjustments her doctor recommended, her blood pressure readings improved enough that her doctor described the trend as exactly the direction we want to see. Patricia didn't credit green tea alone, and that's an honest, important point. It worked as part of a broader pattern of small, consistent choices, not as a standalone cure. That's the realistic way most of these habits work. Now, preparation matters quite a bit with green tea, more than people expect. Avoid pouring boiling water directly over the leaves. It can destroy a meaningful portion of the antioxidant content and create a bitter taste. Aim for water that's hot, but just below boiling, and steep for roughly 2 to 3 minutes. Steeping longer doesn't add more benefit. It mostly just adds bitterness. 1 to 3 cups a day appears to be a reasonable range based on most available research, though individual caffeine sensitivity varies. If caffeine is a concern, decaffeinated green tea retains most of the antioxidant benefits while minimizing the stimulant effects. Skip the sugar if you can. A squeeze of lemon adds a pleasant brightness and a small antioxidant boost, while fresh mint can support digestion and add a cleaner finish. Green tea isn't flashy, and it won't transform your health overnight. But as a quiet, consistent morning habit, it offers one of the best researched combinations of antioxidant support, blood pressure support, and metabolic support available in a single cup. This next one might surprise you, because it's not really a single drink at all. It's a category, and it might be the most flexible option on this entire list. A well-made smoothie can be one of the gentlest, most nutrient-dense ways to start your morning. But the key word there is well-made, because not all smoothies are created equally when it comes to supporting kidney health. Let's start with why smoothies work so well in the first place. They deliver nutrients in a form that's easy to digest and absorb, which matters because heavy, dense meals first thing in the morning can sometimes feel like extra work for a body that's still waking up. A smoothie gives you hydration, vitamins, and antioxidants in a gentler package. The best fruit choices here are berries, specifically blueberries and strawberries. Both are rich in polyphenol, a category of plant compounds that help protect cells from oxidative stress, including the cells inside your kidneys. Polyphenol have also been studied for their role in supporting mitochondrial health, the tiny structures inside cells responsible for generating energy. Healthier mitochondria mean kidney cells have more energy available to carry out the demanding work of filtration. Berries also happen to be naturally lower in potassium compared to many other popular smoothie fruits like bananas or mangoes, which matters for anyone managing reduced kidney function. For the base of your smoothie, plain, unsweetened yogurt is an excellent choice. It contributes protein, which supports muscle maintenance, along with probiotics that support gut health. There's a growing body of research connecting gut health to lower systemic inflammation, and lower inflammation throughout the body generally benefits kidney function as well. I want to tell you about a man named Emeka in his late 50s who had been told during a routine checkup that his kidney function markers were trending in a direction his doctor wanted to keep an eye on. Again, not a diagnosis, just an early signal worth taking seriously. Emeka wasn't someone who enjoyed cooking elaborate meals, especially in the morning. His doctor, knowing this, suggested something simple: a basic berry and yogurt smoothie, 5 minutes of prep, nothing complicated. Half a cup of frozen blueberries, a cup of plain yogurt, a splash of water, blended for 30 seconds. He committed to it most mornings, not perfectly, but consistently enough. At his next set of labs several months later, his numbers had moved in a more favorable direction, and his doctor specifically credited the combination of better hydration, reduced processed sugar intake, and the added antioxidants from his new morning habit. Emika's story is a good reminder that meaningful health changes don't always require complicated solutions. Sometimes the simplest, most repeatable habit is the one that actually sticks long enough to make a difference. Now, a few important guidelines for building a kidney-friendly smoothie correctly. Avoid added sugars, syrups, or sweetened juice as your liquid base. These spike blood sugar quickly, and over time, repeated blood sugar spikes can damage the delicate blood vessels that supply your kidneys. If you'd like to add extra ingredients, a spoonful of ground flaxseed contributes fiber and heart-healthy fats. A small handful of spinach adds extra nutrients. Though if you're managing existing kidney concerns, it's worth discussing leafy greens with your doctor first, since spinach does contain a meaningful amount of potassium and oxalate. The simplest, safest base recipe looks like this: half a cup of blueberries or strawberries, a cup of plain unsweetened yogurt, and a small amount of water or ice, blended until smooth. That's genuinely all it takes to get most of the core benefits. Smoothies aren't about overhauling your entire diet overnight. They're about giving your body and your kidneys a gentle, nutrient-rich start without unnecessary sugar or processed ingredients working against you. And after looking at juice, tea, and smoothies, it's easy to assume the most powerful option has to be complicated. It's actually the opposite. After everything we've covered, it might surprise you that the single most important morning drink for your kidneys isn't a juice, a tea, or a smoothie at all. It's plain water. Your kidneys exist to filter waste, balance fluids, and regulate minerals in your blood, and every part of that process depends on adequate hydration. When you're well hydrated, blood flows more easily, waste products dilute properly, and your kidneys can do their job with far less strain. When you're dehydrated, which most people are, at least mildly, first thing in the morning, urine becomes more concentrated. That concentration creates an environment where minerals are more likely to crystallize, where waste products linger longer than they should, and where your kidneys simply have to work harder to accomplish the same task. Morning is a particularly important window for this. After 6 to 8 hours without fluid intake, your body wakes up in a mild fluid deficit. Drinking water early helps your kidneys catch up before the rest of the day's demands even begin. There's a quiet story I think about often when this topic comes up: a man named Solomon, in his early 70s, who had always considered himself relatively healthy. No major health complaints, active lifestyle, nothing that raised concern. But during a routine senior wellness checkup, his doctor noted that his hydration habits, by his own description, were minimal. He simply didn't think about drinking water unless he felt thirsty. His doctor explained something that stuck with him. By the time you feel thirsty, your body is often already mildly dehydrated, and for older adults specifically, the sensation of thirst tends to become less reliable with age. That conversation alone changed his habits more than any single statistic could have. Solomon started keeping a glass of water by his bed and drinking it before getting up each morning, followed by another glass shortly after. Nothing extreme, just consistent. Over time, he noticed improved energy levels, and his doctor noted improvements in several routine markers at his following checkup. Now, here's an important nuance that often gets oversimplified in health content. More water is not automatically better, especially for anyone with diagnosed kidney disease. In cases of reduced kidney function, the body can sometimes struggle to eliminate excess fluid efficiently, which can lead to swelling and added strain on the heart. Hydration needs are genuinely personal, shaped by body size, activity level, climate, and existing health conditions. This is a conversation to have directly with your doctor, not something to guess at from a video. For most healthy adults, a reasonable approach looks like this. Start your morning with a glass of room temperature water rather than ice-cold water, which can be gentler on your digestive system. Sip steadily rather than gulping quickly. Space your water intake throughout the day rather than trying to drink large amounts all at once. Plain water doesn't need flavor packets, electrolyte additives, or artificial sweeteners to do its job well. In fact, many of those additives introduce sodium or sugar that can work against the very benefit you're going for, unless specifically recommended by a doctor for a particular condition. It's almost ironic that after discussing juices, teas, and smoothies, the most foundational answer turns out to be the simplest one. But that's often how real, sustainable health habits work. Not flashy, not complicated, just consistent. Before we wrap up, I want to address a few questions that come up again and again whenever this topic gets discussed. The first one, can I combine several of these drinks in one morning? Generally, yes, as long as you're not overloading on sugar or caffeine. Many people start with a glass of water, follow it later with green tea or diluted cranberry juice, and occasionally add a smoothie as part of breakfast rather than a separate drink entirely. The goal is balance, not stacking every option into a single hour. Second, how quickly should I expect to notice a difference? Honestly, you likely won't notice anything dramatic in days or even weeks. These habits work on a much longer timeline, months, sometimes longer, which is exactly why they're so easy to dismiss and so commonly overlooked. The value comes from consistency, not from any single morning. Third, does this apply if I already have diagnosed kidney disease? This is an important distinction. Everything discussed today is general wellness information intended for people without diagnosed kidney conditions. If you have an existing diagnosis, your fluid intake, potassium intake, and dietary choices need to be personalized by your doctor or a renal dietitian, since the guidance can shift significantly, sometimes in the opposite direction, depending on the stage and type of kidney condition involved. Fourth, is it ever too late to start these habits? Based on what we see consistently in long-term health patterns, it's rarely too late to make meaningful improvements. The body, including kidney tissue, often responds positively to better hydration and reduced strain at almost any age, even when changes start later in life. And finally, do I need to spend money on specialty products to do this properly? Not at all. Every single drink we discussed today, lemon water, cranberry juice, green tea, a simple berry smoothie, and plain water, can be made with ingredients available at almost any grocery store, often for less than the cost of a single specialty coffee drink. When you step back and look at everything we've covered today, a clear pattern emerges. Protecting your kidneys doesn't require expensive supplements, complicated diets, or dramatic lifestyle overhauls. It starts with something as small and as repeatable as what you choose to drink in the first 30 minutes after waking up. Warm lemon water offers gentle hydration and stone prevention support. Unsweetened cranberry juice helps guard against urinary tract infections that can travel toward the kidneys. Green tea brings some of the strongest research-backed antioxidant and blood pressure support on this entire list. A simple berry and yogurt smoothie delivers nutrients in a form your body can use easily. And plain water, unglamorous as it sounds, quietly does the most essential work of all. Kidney damage, in almost every case, doesn't happen overnight. It builds slowly, silently, through years of small daily habits most people never think twice about. The encouraging part is that kidney protection works exactly the same way, slowly, quietly, through small consistent choices that compound over months and years. You don't have to change everything starting tomorrow. Even one better choice, one glass of water before your coffee, one swap from soda to green tea, is a real step in the right direction. Your kidneys work for you every second of every day, without rest, without complaint. Giving them a slightly better start each morning is one of the simplest forms of long-term self-care available to you. If today's video gave you something useful to think about, do me a favor and subscribe to the channel. It helps this kind of practical health information reach more people who genuinely need it, and it costs you nothing but a tap. I'm Dr. David Ade. Thank you for spending this time with me today. Take care of yourself, take care of those kidneys, and I'll see you in the next one.